what kind of learnings have you seen on the customer experience side?
The daily signals or the demand sensing, it should be possible.
Do you see this moving forward, say the next 2 or 3 years, where the feedback coming from those kirana stores, from your doctors or end users, the voice actually getting translated into text and then to consolidate that information and derive some insights and some information or some trends or patterns?
Feedback loop coming back, it's happening.
What kind of complexities have you seen in which organizations have addressed the data complexity?
Humongous, complex and manual effort intensive. Data quality score.
How do you drive cultural change within organizations?
We all have to really lead by example.
How do you see in the next 5 years in terms of how these industries operate?
50% more productive. Hyper personalization. Blockchain will be revisited.
Welcome to the Bottom Line on AI, where we decode the impact of artificial intelligence on enterprise strategy. I'm your host, Srividya Kannan. Meenakshi, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Srividya.
How have you been?
Very good.
How about the customer experience side of it? I'm sure aspects of what could be really taken from consumer goods who are really so frenetic from a customer experience perspective to then be applying those kind of learnings through to pharmaceuticals, which is again, for sure, extremely customer driven, but could be a little more conservative in that sense versus consumer goods. What kind of learnings have you seen on the customer experience side that could be applied to across industries?
So let me take an example of a Sky program, and it is Unilever has really gone public about talking about it, right? Our global leaders back then and now as well. So Sky program is about integrating our demand systems with our customer systems, and it has picked up in Europe in a big way, where we have had tie-ups with the larger modern trade players. I think they were talking about Tesco.
Okay.
I think Tesco, Walmart, those were the players where we wanted to have this tie-up, and the process of CPFR, collaborative planning replenishment cycle, is where we have done a pilot in Europe, and it is getting rolled out globally. So from customer centricity point of view, I think the forward integration is greatly enabled. Now with AI coming in, the daily signals or the demand sensing, which we were talking about, is becoming reality today. Otherwise, the entire cycle of really responding to the daily signals was not technically possible. We were not able to fit in the entire understanding of the signal, responding to the signal, aligning your entire back-end processes to the new supplies, changes to the new supply strategy was not possible on a daily basis. If I recall, it was supposed to be 3 times a week, and that also looked operationally very, very complex for us. Now it should be possible. The demand sensing on a daily basis, which is needed, which will help the CPG sector, could be possible. So Sky is the program which was quite celebrated in Unilever, and it has gotten all the kind of recognition. Sky is a brand name which is internal, so probably I can take that up. And of course, there are a lot of technology partners who enable this for us. And again, these signals can be in natural language now to the customers as well as to the internal Unilever demand planners. So that is one. When it comes to customer centricity, also how do we really enable with right kind of trade insights to the representatives, the external, we have medical representatives, the MRs selling to the let's say hospitals and the doctors. So that's a corollary in pharma segment as well, but in CPG segment as well. We have a large outsourced sales representatives going to the MTs and the DTs, right? India is still 40% DT. Again, give and take, different players, different product segments. But at the same time, going to them, I mean, I have not seen any DR or an MR going without an iPad. So it's completely digitalized. That's given now, right? It is linked with the CRM systems and so forth. But what AI has done is giving them the real insights of trade deals, where the profitability could be more, where the stockouts are going to happen. So what kind of conversation I should be doing with the doctor and the pharmacy, and let's say in case of CPG, the stockist or the kirana store owner, right?
Right.
So that is what has revolutionized. Again, I'll talk about Shikhar, which is a highly public program which Unilever had done. Shikhar is our B2B platform app, and it's completely in-house built. Of course, we have partnered with technology players, but that's a very, very celebrated platform which we have built. Again, the approach of platform helps here, because just building product in silos doesn't really stick with the customers.
Understandably.
So to say.
And do you see this moving forward, say in the next 2 or 3 years, where the feedback coming from those kirana stores, from your doctors or end users, the voice actually getting translated into text, and then to consolidate that information and derive some insights and some information or some trends or patterns? I mean, do you see that really happening from voice to text? Is that already happening?
So voice to text, again, I'm not an expert here, Srividya. In case of feedback loop coming back, it's happening. So let's say in the app itself,
they capture the information.
It's a star way of working. Like you give 5 stars or 4 stars and give a comment, and then the comments are really analyzed properly, and it generates the actions for the MR and the area sales manager. So those things are already happening, but the voice to action is not.
So that it's adequately, accurately captured, and
I think when we do clinical trials
trends over time, and
when we do clinical trials with a very focused group of patients, and again, there are a lot of personal data is involved in this case, and for a very serious diseases, then there are a lot of dialogues by the patients are captured, and it goes to the R&D teams. So there I have seen good voice to text usage, because the patients in those conditions cannot really write or type or anything. They can only express the feedback in terms of their voice whenever they are going through the treatment, and then those signals are processed and used for the further R&D processes. So that is used, but it's a very limited use case, and it's again it's done in a very, very controlled environment.
Sure. Let's talk a bit about data, given the complexity of some of these use cases and the fact that organizations have grown over time. Many have legacy of applications, and we'll come to talent in a bit. But coming to the data aspect of it, what kind of complexities have you seen? But importantly, how have what are some of the 2 or 3 I would say very interesting ways in which organizations have addressed the data complexity beyond data lakes and what have you?
So I'll take a step back. When we do large digital platform build, product build, digital-led business process transformation, there was a phenomenon that we are shifting the business complexity to the digital teams complexity. So it is that jobs are shifting, right, but the cost is not decreasing, right? Your digital cost becomes a concern for all the CXOs, and I am no different. At an enterprise level, we have always struggled to make digital cost efficient and make business cases work. Now, coming to your data question, now what does it take to really maintain the good quality of data from the process digitalization layer to the data layer, and then as a input to the architecture of AI, right? It is humongous, complex. It is manually effort intensive to really sustain that data layer, right? From, let's say, the ingestion from the input systems to really create the functional and the domain specific data layer, and then to really make it usable, right? across these 3 layers of work, it is humongous, complex, and manual effort intensive. Now, the hope is, can we use AI to really ease these jobs?
Absolutely.
Right? And I'm sure all of us would have heard that, look, data engineer's job is also getting enabled and automated. Can we really have data created from the systems on its own? I'm sure, common data models is something which every CDO would have thought through. Canonical data models, common data models. Can we really create common data models which can really homogenize all the systems today? This is possible now. The automation of creating common data model can be attempted. Have we done it? Have I seen it? Answer is no. But are we attempting it? Yes. We still have a big team of data engineers to ensure the data quality. But this is work in progress. What is happening very successfully is the concept of DQ score, data quality score, and we, again, drawing the parallel with the business processes. It seems it's already done that we have business KPIs, whether it is OTIF for demand and supply planning, whether it is about, let's say, OLA, OSA in case of modern trade. It could be, let's say, POs per FTE kind of metric from when we are looking at productivity, or payment on time in case of, let's say, our AP processes. So these matrices are very clear for business processes. But when it comes to data, how do we define DQ? Is it a good data quality score or not? What we have done is really define the data quality and really measure it on a monthly basis. Material masters, your master recipes, your BOMs, your vendor masters, and we publish it and give to the business. Because its data ownership is not just a digital leader's responsibility, it is co-owned with the business leaders. And we publish those DQ scores, good, bad, ugly, whatever that is. Just seeing the DQ scores is really spreading awareness. And the conversation starts. What do we do? Otherwise, we just throw the number that this is the cost of your AI layer. Your AI layer is not really going to help if your DQ scores are like that. So that is happening very successfully, at least.
Also, there's this whole aspect of unstructured content, right? So one is the structured data, from where will emerge all the DQ scores and a constant data cleansing effort and a homogenization of data, and maybe data enrichment as well, which can be facilitated by AI. But there's also this whole aspect about unstructured content, documents, emails, WhatsApp messages, and what have you, relating to the entire business process, which then needs to marry, and that whole information needs to contextualize with the structured data to then add meaning to it and really make the AI more enriched from the delivery perspective. So I think beyond structured data, which is one addressable component, no doubt, as you mentioned, challenging but doable, where organizations are focused on, the other next big aspect is the unstructured content. And when we look at contracts, for instance, I see a lot of work happening, but then how do you kind of ensure that all of these various points of ingestion when it comes to, or points of recognition when it comes to unstructured content, then gets integrated and somewhere contextualized with that structured data to add meaning to this whole layer. Those would be really interesting problems for organizations to solve, isn't it?
True. So Srividya, on the customer side, we have many use cases, right? We really tap on the social media information, and it gets converted into the usable data, structured data, and it goes into our digital marketing strategy, which influencer to choose, what kind of techniques we should use and all. But coming to the enterprise backend processes, I think the great opportunities lie in using the data related to the AGMs of the suppliers, wherever your suppliers are registered today. Using the MOMs, it's as simple as that. What can I draw? Using the information which are hidden in contracts, which is not related to your usual price and expiry dates, but really the fine prints, right? Sometimes we miss that. Or let's say, can we record the meetings? If you're having a Teams meeting, you can always record the meetings, and you can do the body language sentiment analysis. So there are those opportunities for us to really grab and use it. And I'm tempted to also give you an HR example right now. interviews, right? During COVID, we all noted that so many dummy interviews were happening, right? Moonlighting was happening. But that can be avoided if you are taking let's say, an online interview. So, and even, to when you have, let's say, very close candidate calls, look at the body language. They will tell you a lot more about, let's say, the suitable hiring, especially at senior position or at critical positions, than, let's say, the simple objective way of making hiring decisions. I think those are the examples of unstructured data.
And during the interview process now, especially with online, I think the identification of the usage of GPT, that itself is an AI problem to solve.
See,
to respond to answers.
There will be a lot of AIs to combat the risk which the AI will bring in.
Absolutely.
And that's an opportunity for the suppliers like you.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Yes, makes sense. And let's talk a bit about talent, right? I mean, this is one important topic, and I'm curious to get as many perspectives on this as possible. So, how do you drive cultural change within organizations to actually resonate very positively with what's set out to come, but also equally be enthusiastic about how the future is looking like with AI, and be a part of that change and be willing to be a part of that change full hog, not only as a result of the knowledge that you keep acquiring, as well as the organization helps individuals to train on what's going on, but also for that person to then be aware and fully participate with complete enthusiasm and the change around that. Isn't that a very big problem to solve? So what are some of the tips and tricks?
I wish I had an easy answer, and I wish I could say that I'm too good at it. At the same time, we all have to really lead by example. I think that's the first thing before asking anybody, whether it is in the digital organization or in the business functions, to do anything. I think leading by example is really the first and foremost step. I have seen the uses of ADKAR philosophy, ADKAR. First is awareness, then create the desired D, impart the right knowledge, why it is needed, and A, aspiration, what does it do for them, and R is reinforcement, because it cannot be done one time and forgotten. And we apply this philosophy in my current organization, and it is fairly successful if executed well.
Of course,
right? Not just the paper exercise. I think digital teams first really need to learn themselves and keep learning and keep updated about the every relevant innovation happening. I mean, every month there is some model or the other which is getting released, right? I mean, Google AI Studio, I built my own app just 3 weeks back, and last week it was not working because there's a newer version, right? It is the reality of today. And same with, let's say, the hardware part of it, right? There are GPUs right now, and I'm sure, let's say, Google will come something to really, to address the challenge NVIDIA is posing, right? So, how does the digital talent remain updated with all the multimedia news which is really landing and hitting us? That is first, because they become the champions, they become the inspiration agents for the business functions. So that's the second step. Lead by example, use the ADKAR philosophy. Second is digital talent has to be first really stay concurrent, relevant themselves. Then comes the third part, that how do you really do the cultural change, how do you build the talent pool within the business functions, etc. I think identifying the people, right talent in the business function who could be your extended digital team, I think that helps, and it has helped me across the sectors. And it should not just limit to your boundaries of the organizations. I recall an example from my banking career, where we were just trying to move the check ways of working to the RTGS NEFT of the working, and we really had to identify the right clients who will adopt the digital payment systems, right? So it is not within the boundaries of an organization. You have to really make the customers part of it. When the customers are part of it and they see the value, the business benefit, your internal sales organization will become a part of the story. Similarly, suppliers, right? When we recently upgraded our S2P systems and processes, we just had, let's say, a 20 supplier cohort become our early adopters.
Right.
And then the supplier and then the buyers in-house really
Yeah.
join the bandwagon, right?
So create the champions of
create
change.
the champions.
Yeah.
I think, again,
Who can
it's the
really play
same
that,
lead by example, but you know,
Yeah.
you create more examples to
Yeah.
influence, and then
Build that ecosystem.
I think people who are sitting by the fence or who are naysayers, they joined in.
Yeah.
There's no magic wand. It's early adoption and, you know, inspiration stories later.
Yeah. Thank you for that. My final question would be gazing into the future and looking, say you had a crystal ball and you were gazing into the future. How do you see all or either of consumer goods, pharma and banking look like with AI? What is the, what is that
tough
one,
question.
what is that one, big thing that, the aspirational thing that you see will emerge, say, in the next 5 years in terms of how these industries operate?
I wish I had a confident answer, but I will definitely make some suggestions here, and I think people will pursue these, right? And whether they will really create the outcomes we want, time will only tell. Let's begin with pharma itself. We definitely see R&D and manufacturing of generic pharma getting more productive. The end-to-end cycle of trials coming down, which means less cost, and medicines become more accessible. You win in the competitive market where there is a race to enter first in the US and Europe market in case of generic pharma. So there are a lot of benefits. So R&D and manufacturing will really see AI embedded into their core processes and really become at least 50% more productive, at least. That's what I see in 5 years. CPG, I think hyper-personalization will continue. I think quick commerce, e-commerce are disrupting already the CPG world, and they will continue doing so. Lot of M&A will be driven by AI as well, because the AI native businesses, you know, I mean, again, recently you would have seen Minimalist was acquired by Unilever.
Right.
So if the big organization cannot really disrupt themselves, they will really do the acquisition way, right? To stay current is how I see it in CPG world. I think in case of banking, blockchain, we have heard, I mean, it's not AI the way we hear it today, but blockchain never took off, right? I think with AI, and if the compute power really improves, the blockchain will be revisited in banking. At least a lot of efforts were made, but we did not see blockchain take off in the trade finance or in case of, let's say, you know, KYC processes, etc. So those would be my, let's say, the big dreams and the big hopes. And I hope these suggestions people will really attempt.
So R&D reduce in 50% productivity
50%
improvement
productivity in R&D and
manufacturing, hyper-personalization getting more and more amplified, M&A, and eventually leveraging of blockchain together with AI to create disruptions in the financial services market. Excellent. So good to have you, Meenakshi, on the show, and I look forward to our further conversations. Thank you for watching in. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.